Good morning and welcome to Open Line.
KXRA Radio, AM 1490 and FM 100.3 in Alexandria present Open Line with your hosts, Joe Krakowski and Patty Wicken. Open Line is designed to be a service to the area, providing dialogue with public officials, dignitaries, and other community leaders about current events and issues that affect our lives. Open Line provides you with the opportunity to call our live on-air studio line with any questions you might have about the subject being discussed. The views and opinions offered by the hosts, studio guests, and telephone callers do not necessarily reflect those of the ownership and management of KXRA Radio. And now, Open Line from the Lake Country Meets Open Line Studios.
Except today, what?
And good Wednesday morning, everyone. Welcome to the program. Good morning, Patty Wicken.
Good morning, Joe Krakowski. Good morning, Mark Anthony.
Hi, Patty. Hi, Joe. Boy, looking good there,
Yeah.
Joe.
No, this is, see, the thing is, for years, as a sales consultant or marketing strategist,
Yeah.
I was encouraged to wear a suit and tie,
Right.
or at least a tie, and I didn't do it that much. So I figured today, on
You'd make up for
a
it?
special day, I would at least wear it in honor of our guest.
Well, it's
Right.
very
Today.
nice. I told
I love it.
I told Mark this morning, I said we all should have, even the women, we should have all wear ties today.
Right. And Patty is adorned
could
in
have lent
black,
some to you
as in
guys.
mourning.
I'm completely in black, yes.
Yes. And we also have with us Chris Udi. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning.
We are talking about Bruce McKirdy,
Sure.
and he is with us here. And that voice, let's hear it.
Which? The voice?
Yeah, the voice.
Whatever.
So,
Anyway.
when was the first day you worked at KXRA, Bruce?
January 2nd, 1996.
1996. So it's 23 years.
Yep. Yeah.
And in 23...
And it was like 35 degrees below zero. It was so cold.
So
I remember that.
There is global warming.
Oh, my
Yeah,
gosh.
much warmer this year.
And I'm still trying to figure out the downside if that's the case, because it's been, I mean, that was cold. It was like one of those winters where you got to town and we loaded the truck. We had moved from the Wilmer area. And we loaded the truck, and we'd put like 3 quick trips out to the truck, and then we had to come stand inside because it was not just 35 actual degrees below zero. It was like a 50 or 60 below wind chill, and it was just awful. Yeah. And when we got here, the back of the truck, my friends had thrown my stuff into the back of the car and totally destroyed our dining room table.
Oh, my.
I mean, as I recall, it was one of those wardrobe boxes that has the metal hanger going across, and they tipped it down flat. So they didn't have the wardrobe upright. They had it laying on top of the table. So it's like, and it had this huge
Added character
arc.
to it, is what
yeah,
you're saying.
it was a mess.
Oh,
but,
my.
But we got a new one.
Hey, you want some help moving out?
Yeah.
You know, and when you say we, it's you and your partner. She's
Yep.
a pretty patient woman.
Oh, yeah.
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 So,
You know, Lori has we've moved several times.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
great moving stories.
Before I was here, I was the corporate creative director for a group of 19 radio stations, and it was called CRP, Creative Radio Productions. So essentially, I went to these 19 markets and helped fix radio stations, and I did that for 4.5 years. We were based out of a lot of different places, but we had fixed enough problems, and so I was actually working for Mel Parody. And Mel was Brett Parody, guy who owns this company. It was his dad. And so we had moved quite a bit, and I wound up, he said, well, I guess we're going to open an office in Spicer because we don't have anywhere else to send you guys just yet. And so we moved there, and I want to say it was about a year later. Maybe it was 2 years. I don't know.
Okay. And you were living in Pennock.
Pennock, yeah, this little bitty town.
Oh, we
We
know where
found
that
this
is, Mark.
amazing house. We found this like 2,500 square foot house, and it was all hardwood, up and down. And I remember my mom, who's passed away now. She came walking into the house the first time, and she walks through it, and it's a beautiful home. And we had kind of rehabbed it. That's what we do. And she looked around. She goes, oh, these hardwood floors will be an incredible seller to anyone who's never had them before.
See?
Because they're really hard to keep up.
Isn't she wonderful?
Oh, she was a
Oh,
hoot.
yeah. Well, let's get to the crux of why you're. It's not just interview and employee day here at KXRA. Bruce is moving on, and you're going down to Mankato.
Radio Mankato. Radio Mankato is the company. It's owned. If you've ever heard of the Linder Farm Network, there was the grandfather started the Linder Farm Network. His last name was Linder, and I hate to say it, I don't know his name, but his son John took over and ran that company out of Mankato for years and years and years. Well, John passed away this last April, and his son David took over, and David and I talked, and I seemed like the natural fit to. David's a lawyer. He's not a radio guy,
right?
And so he wanted to have a radio guy to come take over the property.
Well, let's talk about radio guys. I don't know if Chris, you can remember it. Patty can remember it. Probably she remembers everything. But I remember the first time hearing Bruce McKirdy's voice and knowing it was you was listening to a Sports Magic commercial.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, those were fun commercials. I loved those.
Yeah. And so can you think back at all these different campaigns? Because Bruce is, with his marketing, has been responsible for many, many companies in this town turning some pretty sizable profits and doing some good things. And, of course, it takes the business themselves to do it. But
sure.
What are some of the businesses that you can really, really
the
think
stuff
back?
that I have enjoyed the most, I mean, I loved the old Sports Magic stuff. That was an awful lot of fun. The Ace Hardware ads, we've written and produced those for 2 decades now. And Rocky has just been such a supporter down there of both KXRA, but also, I mean, this ability to just say, here's the topic, go do something fun. And that's pretty rare that you have somebody who's willing to step out there with you. And so Ace Hardware's been fun. Trum Drug, I've done all of that work for years and years. Cullens, yep, we worked with them. I mean, it's more than. I mean, people have it in mind. It's just ads. It's also there's a ton of people who have never advertised with us, who I've tried to help. If you go south on the on 29. Right near that, what do they call those things? The roundabout. Thank you.
Yes.
Anybody who knows me well knows I kind of gap off on words.
Yeah.
It's like I can't find that word, but. There's a place called Tax 29, and she's been my accountant tax lady for 20 years. And she said, I need to rename my business. And so it was our team that came up with that name. So, I mean, just goofy stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun.
Can you think of other campaigns?
Oh, yeah.
Was Shoot the Minnow, was that?
Oh, yeah. That came out of our office. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, for the corral. That was, I mean, and most of these, by the way, this wasn't me who thought something up. We have tried to develop a team where we can just sit down and talk about ideas, and here's a subject, and you know, we need a slug line, we need a new name, we need a whatever. But yeah, there's a whole ton of those. Boy, it's hard to pick out how many there were. I mean, I've enjoyed working with the great Hunan. Those are great folks, and
right. So it may not always be.
It's not always the big clients that are
right.
You know.
And Colorful Seasons.
Colorful Seasons, we've done all that. Yeah, and Patty's done all the voice work on that. So that one is I'm invisible on that, but you know, we write the copy and we manage different things, and yeah.
How many commercials have you done in your
buttons.
Life? All right.
Oh, I actually
change that.
I have a real number to that.
Do you
because believe it or not, I've saved every piece of copy that I've written since about 1992. And
wow.
I know, and I'm in the process of digitizing that. You'll see me a couple of times before I leave town, but because I want to try and digitize that, right? But actual produced, there's about 2,500 or something like that, because I was copying some things onto a thumb drive of things I've produced. But everything I've produced, actual ads that I produced since I got here in '96, I have copies of.
Okay.
But you know, you may have heard Bruce's voice all across the country, because he's done some national for different
Hawaii and South Dakota. I was in Custer, South Dakota, and heard a McDonald's ad.
Oh, this is so I don't want this hour to be all about me. I want it to be about stories. If I could choose, I want this to be so here's a great story, and you got somebody on 100. I'll tell you the story about Rapid City in a minute. Okay. But
all right, well, let's go to the phone line. Good morning and welcome to Open Line.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Bruce.
Yes.
This is the big deal calling.
Oh my gosh, Scott Murray.
Scott,
how are you?
Good morning.
Wow. So
I'm
Scott,
sitting in my office in Eden Prairie listening to this wonderful program on KXRA.com, Voice of Alexandria.
well, I appreciate that. That's really cool. Scott, if people, a lot of people don't realize it, we have a Big Deals online store where you can get gift certificates to local businesses at 20, 30, 50% off.
It's always selling.
I know, right? I was going to say, there's your
There
plug.
he goes.
And all you got to do is go to voiceofalexandria.com and click on Big Deals. So there's the full deal.
How's Christmas at your house?
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway.
It consists of a mail slot underneath the Christmas tree.
I like
So,
that.
so
Filled
this,
with gift certificates.
so this is a fun story because Scott Murray came to us, and Scott runs the Big Deals Media Corporation. It's a franchise, and so Scott came to Brett and I. Boy, what year was that, Scott?
It was 2010.
Okay,
We
and
were just getting our heart started.
right, and so he came in and he gave us the pitch for the Big Deals online store, and I believe my response was.
N-O, no.
I mean, I think it was stronger than that. I hated the idea. I just didn't want to do it. But you came back again, and you came back, I want to say, a third or fourth time, and somewhere along the line you asked the right question. And it was along the lines of how are you getting new small businesses to advertise with you? And the answer was, coming out of the recession, was we were having a hard time with that. And this is the Big Deals program is a way when you've got a new startup or something young and you just don't have the cash budget. Here's an opportunity to advertise like the big boys while using trade for product. And Scott taught us how to do that. And it was really fun because he never told me what a normal amount of business was. So I was like, well, let's do this much business. And he was smart enough not to say, wow, nobody's ever done that. And
Right.
so we did. And we've been the number, Scott, correct me if I'm wrong, but we've been the #1 Big Deals online store for years now.
Since you started.
Okay.
Yep,
Okay.
Yep. In little old Alexandria, Minnesota, population, 16,000?
Yeah, and it's really with just pretty basic, we're just trying to do the right things to help small businesses grow. I mean, when a lot of people who may come to us, we help them come up with the ideas. We help them write copy. We help them, do. And whether you're using Big Deals or whether you're using, buying a cash plan from us, it's all the same. I mean, we treat you the same. So, yeah.
Okay, now you've had plenty of connections with Bruce over the years, I'm sure, Scott.
Oh my gosh, yes, more than we could talk, and we could fill the hour with him. But one of the things that I didn't realize about you and I have talked an awful lot over the years.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things I didn't realize was your previous title, the director of CRP.
Right. Yeah.
That spells crap in my book.
I know. There's truth to that.
My
yeah.
goodness, the director of crap. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I laughed out loud.
That was one of those where there were several ideas over the course of the years that we should have looked back on that differently, and said, yeah, this was not okay. And CRP was one of them.
We need a different acronym.
Yes, we did. Yeah.
We had some bags in the summer that were an interesting one, but we won't go there. Right.
We could go there later. But.
I have a fun story to share with you and your listeners. Bruce and I have spent an awful lot of time together. We have conferences, and Bruce is on our advisory board, and it has been just one of the cornerstones of our company since we built it. So one of the things that we did, we decided when U.S. Bank Stadium opened that we were going to do something really cool for a couple of our key customers. And so we went out and we bought, on the secondary market, bought tickets to the home opener, Vikings-Packers 2016 football season, first game of the season, Sunday Night Football. I mean, this is almost as good as it gets. I mean, it would be this, and next would be probably playoffs or the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
So I call up Bruce. He's one of 2 clients that we are going to bring to this game, and the other guy was a Packer fan. So I knew he was going to flip. Bruce, I explained to him, Bruce, we want you to be our guest for the home opener, Vikings versus Packers. First game, Sunday Night Football. It's going to be awesome. We're going to tailgate party. Da 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 da. And he says, there's this long silence on the phone. He said, Scott, I'm really flattered, but I could care less about sports. I know.
I believe the exact words were, "You know this is wasted on me, right?"
And I think I told him, shut up and like it.
Yeah, and you just said, hey, come on, we really want you to do this, and I would really like your company. And I said, okay, as long as you're aware of, I'm just, for those who don't know me really well, I'm not a huge sports fan. I fake every sports conversation, and I'm pretty good at it.
You have formulated
a
great, that was a heck of a game.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Vikings having a heck of a season. It goes both ways. I mean, you can. Or my favorite is to listen to the sports on the way into work, and then just you walk in the door and you repeat whatever the M&N guys said, it's like, and every once in a while, people in the building, I mean, like Chris, I'll walk into his audience or into his office, and it'll be, give me something. I didn't listen to sports this morning, but it's
Timberwolves really got
right, so and so, and he'll jump right into the conversation and then catch himself and go, you don't have no idea. Or when he catches on what I'm doing, he'll ask me a question back that he knows I don't have an answer for, which is really funny also.
So just SportsCenter, just have it on the background. Something that will at least soak in.
So one of the things that I have discovered about Bruce, and it didn't take long, was that the man loves to visit casinos. And so when we get together for meetings now, we always have the meetings either in a casino or very close to a casino, so we can make Bruce happy.
Mm-hmm.
How far is Mankato from Treasure Island?
I have no idea. I haven't worked all those things out yet. But
on a serious note, I don't want to dominate your show here today, but I wanted to call in and thank Bruce publicly because one of the things that we've learned, we're a consultancy. We partner with radio stations, and oddly enough, one of the few customers that came on board before Alexandria was the group of radio stations in Mankato that he's going to. So I'm delighted that Bruce is still going to be a customer. I don't know what I'd do without him. We always say when you're running a consultancy, you're only as good as your customer. And to take it one step further, we're only as good as the leadership at our radio station partners. And you guys are the best. And Bruce, you have led that charge from day one. And Brett has certainly created a culture of success and winning and doing things the right way. And so, from the bottom of my heart, I am so appreciative of your group at Voice of Alexandria, Paradis Broadcasting, because you have helped make us the company that we are today. So we wish you very well, and we'll see you on the other side in a couple of weeks.
Cool. Yeah. See you later.
Thanks for calling.
Thank you, Scott.
All right. Thank you.
All right. He echoes what a lot of businesses and companies could say around the Lakes area, and we'll talk more with Bruce McKirdy and a few other guests after this.